Very warm welcome to Dr. Zia Ahmed YouTube channel. Dear students, we shall be today talking on the topic of language revival. It's a very short introduction. Here we shall be trying to analyze what happens because of which language losses begin to occur and what could be the possible processes because of which revitalization of language can be done. Alongside that, we shall also have a look at the theories which are responsible for this, and some of the examples may be quoted also. We shall see also in this video what kind of role the communities can play, what is the role of government in this regard, and in the age of technology, what else we can do. So let's proceed next and see how we can understand this. The very first thing is to know what does this topic mean. This topic, language revival, actually means that there is a systematic effort to bring a declining or extinct language back into daily use. So there are two things. One is the decline, other one is the extinction. And these are the two stages also, that when the speakers stop speaking or do not use a language, at that time decline comes there. And ultimately, because of different socio-political factors, the language becomes extinct because the speakers are not using it. And therefore, there is a need in order to revive that language to save it from dying. What we can do, for example, we can document the language, we can start teaching the same language, and then media is the most important factor. In media, we can make a use of that language. Community can engage itself also on different ways, by different ways one can say, in order to keep that language alive. And then it whole, when we do so, it must include itself in the planning of the language. The planning means that how and in what years, what timing, and in what places at least the language would be kept alive. That thing is all the time kept in mind. So these things are done for the sake of language revival. There are very important causes for this language problem which happens, and one needs to make it possible that the language is revived. Many things can be done, for example, to remove this, but the causes are there. These should also be understood. The very first cause is the colonization and the political domination. We know very well that large parts of the world were colonized, and the colonizers, may they be English, may they be French or Spanish, they brought their own language and told to the people, rather forced the people that they have to use their language, otherwise jobs will not be available or progress will not be available. So the languages which were local and indigenous, they were in suffering. And similarly, sometimes there are economic pressures also all over the globe that one needs to do business, one needs to deal with the people for socio-economic issues, and for that purpose the language which is dominant all over the world is used, and as a result regional and local languages go back. If the uses decrease, definitely the problem happens. Then is the urbanization and migration. Definitely it's the most important issue, that when we start migrating from one place and get hold of our houses and cultures of the other people, and there also the language is influenced. We stop using our language, though at homes people keep on using, but most of the time it happens that the language use becomes failure, and as a result the language becomes extinct or it becomes declining. Above all, if we think about the stigmatization of minority languages, for example, it has been seen that some of the languages, when people speak, the other people would say that it's the language of the ignorant people. And from that language, it is being shown that one is not cultured. So that is why people stop speaking that language. These causes and many other become responsible in order to make a language become decline in its use, and with the passage of time become extinct as well. So these are some of the things which are responsible for this. Let us see how philosophically this thing is occurring, or what dealings we can do as far as the theoretical frameworks are concerned. For example, looking at this theoretical foundation, we can have an idea what happens. Fishmans, for example, gave GIDS. The GIDS model is graded intergenerational disruption scale. According to him, what happens when from one generation to the other, language passes, there are some of the problems which happen and disruptions take place. Languages do not pass from one generation to the other in the same way, the same quality and quantity, and that is why the problems keep on happening. This is one of the major issues, but Hagen also gives his model in order to describe that if the language, any language, is not used as a part of the language policy and planning, it also can happen that the languages become extinct or their importance is decreased. Then are the cultural linguistics also. If the cultural linguistics are not functioning properly in any area or any country, in any community, the languages begin to become out of repository. So therefore, cultural linguistics should be used in order to keep that language alive. So in this way, some of the things have been talked about theoretically also that may be put to practice also. And for this purpose, dear students, let us see what could be possible strategies of reviving any language. Here are some of the strategies which can help us to revive language. Let us see what these can be. The very first thing is the documentation and linguistic description of the language. Definitely, it is clear that if the language is not recorded, is not put into archives, is not written, is not documented, it can cause a lot of problems. So that is why every language which we want that it should survive, it should live, it should be active, must be documented as well. In the same way, certain developments should continue. One of these developments is the orthographical development in the teaching materials. That means language should be taught, and when language is taught, definitely the spellings of language, the sounds of language are taught, and in this way these sounds and spellings keep themselves alive. Same is the case with the teaching materials. If these are developed from that language, it continues to survive, it continues to give its importance to the people, and so it lives. And the third strategy is the immersion schools and the community classes. That there should be the schools where a language is taught in a very deep way. That language is understood by the people, spoken by the people, written by the people, and listened by the people in the school. The students may be using in the community meetings as well. So that would be another strategy to keep this dying language alive. And above all, the most important thing is the media integration. Media integration means that the language should be used in the radios, TVs, and online platforms. If language is used in that way, there are multiple millions of users of these platforms, that language definitely wouldn't die at all. So the best way would be to use it in media. In the same way, not only the official ways but also the community ways can be involved in order to keep the language alive. For example, one community at least should come forward to own the language. They should say that it is their language and they should feel proud in using that language. The transfer of language from one generation to the other in the household should also occur in as best possible way as could be in order to keep that language alive. In the same way, cultural events are very significant and important. These should be there in order to observe the use of that language. For example, the songs and the dramas or the poetic instances can be done in the same language. So community also can keep can keep that language alive, which is possibly to die. So these strategies are possible on the part of the communities. The government institutions can also do a lot. For example, government institutions can give a lot of support for the revival of a language. For example, the offices or the official documents should include recognition of any language which is carrying the threat of dying in the language policies and recognition also. Some of the fundings should also be provided by the government to develop curriculum or to develop the courses or the schemes in the same language. That will help a lot in keeping the language alive. Teachers who may be of any age, may be of any community, they may be trained in the use of that language. The trainings will keep that language alive and the use will keep on happen. and the academic support in this way can be lent to the dying language. It can save. Besides all this, very important thing in today's world is going to be the technology and AI use, which can help us revive any language. For example, we can develop digital diaries, digital dictionaries. We can develop some of the applications. We can also develop the corpora of the language. That means the rules, the principles, wherever these can be made, can be developed with the help of these electronic gadgets or the apps. The next thing is possible also that AI-based speech recognition for endangered languages may be prepared. If this is done, definitely translations will be possible, and there will be possibility of converting language from one version to the other. I mean, from written to the oral, or from oral to the written. In that way, a lot of language activity will keep on, and that will save it from dying. Revival would be possible. And after that, as I already said, media is really very much important. In order to save this language, we can use lots of platforms of the social media in order to convey that language to the world. If it can be done, definitely language revival is possible. Dear students, it's not the case that languages which die, they completely die, they do not reappear. We have number of examples where we could see that the development of language took place and the possibility of the revival of language was there. For example, the very first language is the Hebrew, the most successful revival in history. Hebrew language has been revived in a most successful way. That could be under the threat of extinction, but now it is not the case, it is revived. So there are examples of that, and therefore the languages can be revived also. Second is the case of Maori language in New Zealand. That has also been in a very good way revived. Language by creating language nests where language is kept alive in one way or the other. So therefore, the second example is there. The third one is the Welsh example in UK, where bilingual education and media channels revived the language, Welsh language. So in this way, there are many examples in the world of language revival. So the possibility is there. And now if we come to our own country, Pakistan, we will be able to see that in Pakistan as well, many languages have been worked upon to keep them alive or to make them available for speech, for usage, because we don't want them to die. For example, there has been one language, Barohi, other is Sheena, then is Wakhi, and then is Burushaski. These languages have been revived. A lot of efforts have been made. These languages were dying, but they have been revived. And after that, if we proceed further, the communities were engaged in that case, local literature could be produced, and cultural documentation if these things are done. In Pakistan, these were done and the languages were kept alive. Some of the challenges possibly are there in the revival of this language, but the challenges could be overcome by increasing support of the community and formulating the best kind of possible workable policy as well. There may be bigger challenges also in the revival of language. For example, we may train certain people, but they may not become the fluent speakers, and as a result, they won't be using the language everywhere in a fluent way. So, problem would still remain, more efforts would be required. Then we have another issue, and that is sometimes we do not have for support and funding from the government or different institutions, and as a result also one project when it is begun, it could fall into failure as well. And alongside that, we have another issue that in today's world, English is dominating everywhere for business, for everything. So it could cause a huge load on the languages which are dying. So the people would be turning back to English instead of turning back to their regional or national languages. Urban migration is taking place very heavily, and so transmission from one generation to the other of the language also becomes in problematic situation, and so it happens because of which language begins to decline. and it also sometime reaches extinction. So these are bigger challenges in the way of revival of language. But still the efforts, if the efforts are continued, revival of a language may be possible. At least theoretically it can be done, and practically it can be practiced also. So in the end, we can conclude that language revival is a multidisciplinary effort. It is not so that easy. It needs time, it needs energy, it needs funding, a lot of effort is required. That is why our success in reviving of the language depends on our coordinated work on the part of the community, on the part of the state, on the part of technology usage also. All these things, if combined hand together, language can be revived. It means that preserving of the language is actually preserving of cultural memory. So if we let a language die, it means we are letting a culture die. It means we are letting a community die. It means that the extinction process would start on one part and it may come on the other parts also. So dear students, thank you for watching. We shall meet in some next other video. So if you like it, if you get something, do not fail to hit the subscribe and the like button. Hope to see you in some next video.